So today I'm fishing the last 3 hours of the outgoing tide and then a couple hours of the incoming tide. Very calm wind today. So my goal right now is just to find where all the fish are. And once I do that, I'll get the camera on and catch some. Well, I've already seen a couple fish. And I'm not even really in the area that I want to fish at yet. There goes another one. Another one. Oh man, I ran over him. Of course. Oh, there's... Alright, there's a lot of fish around here. Probably should have started casting earlier. Gonna keep the camera on right now because there's a lot of fish right here. So I'm gonna blind cast ahead of me before I run them over. See if I can hook one. I'm in about a 1.5 feet, 2 feet of water probably. Lure I'm using is 1/8 ounce jig head with a Bass Assassin chicken on a chain color paddle tail. So I've been seeing fish and haven't been getting any bites, so I'm switching to a Gulp swimming mullet, see if I can actually hook some fish. Alright, I got the camera on because there's some fish around here, and there's a hit. Right when I said it. It's a little one. They're biting real weird. Hard to get them to bite, but it's the first fish of the day. Got a small one on. And that's why I had the camera on, because I knew there were fish around here. Just struggling to get them to bite. Got them on the Gulp swimming mullet. That's what I always switch to when I'm afraid they're being picky. Really, this fish is really cold. It's definitely winter time. That's a keeper. I'll measure it. Probably 17 inches. Yep, 17 inches. Oh, looks like we'll be keeping this one. 17-inch red, first fish of the day. Alright, I'll turn the camera back on when I get more. So I know I probably said this in the last video I made, but in the winter, you gotta be really careful to not scare off the fish.
Yeah.
It's a fish. It's a little red, little keeper red. Oh wow. This has some kind of injury right on its face. It's probably a 17 or 18 inch red. Yeah, 17.5 inches. It's a 17.5 inch keeper red. Only the second fish of the day. It's been really slow. Watch out, looks like they're coming right towards you. I think I got some coming out here. Got one? Nice. Wow, I just casted my lure off. Dang it. Alright, I don't even have a jig head tied on, and there's reds here. I'm gonna throw a top water and they're not gonna hit it. Any idea where they went? Oh my God! I just cast my topwater right off. That was a lot of fish too.
Yeah. They're here somewhere. Right now we know they're here.
Well, I gotta retie and I gotta grab this topwater that I casted all the way off. It's right here floating. Today I'm fishing a tide that I don't normally do great at during the winter. I'm about 2 to 3 hours into the incoming tide right now, and I'll fish probably all the way till high tide. The tide's up, so I'll be fishing right along the grass line and oysters. It'll be harder to find the fish, and I probably won't find them schooled up, but I think I'll still be able to get some fish today. Starting off today throwing a Bass Assassin chicken on a chain color paddle tail on an 1/8 ounce jig head. But it probably won't take long till I switch to gulp or live bait if I'm not getting bites. I have one spot in the creek that I want to try real quick, and then I'll go back out on the flat, see how that goes. Yeah, I definitely just saw redfish at this spot. Oh, right up on the oysters. That's how it's gonna be all day probably. Look at that. There's one right in the grass. Yeah, they're gonna be difficult to hook. You can just tell by the way it's going. Tide's only gonna go up more. It's only gonna get higher. I might come back in this creek later, but I've got to move on for now. Now I'm switching to my favorite lure, a gulp swimming mullet. Today I'm gonna give you a realistic timeline of how the fishing is going with the higher tide, so you have a better idea of what to expect when you're out here. So far I've been out here for 30 minutes. I've seen about 3 redfish and I have not caught any yet. Now, I just had a redfish on the gulp swimming mullet and it completely snapped my line. There must have been a weak spot on my line. I've been on the water for an hour now. I've lost 2 jig heads with gulp on them. One was with a fish and the other one was on oysters. Tide's continuing to go up and the fish are getting more spread out, so not gonna be very easy fishing. But I'm gonna keep moving around and looking for them. I've also probably traveled a total of 1.5 miles today so far.
Yeah.
Trout on camera and turned the camera off on accident. Got him on the popping cork with a mud minnow. Wasn't expecting a trout either. It's probably a keeper. First fish I landed today. This is my first winter trout of the year. And it looks like a keeper. No, 13.5. Throw them back, see if I can catch some more. Okay, so I've been on the water for about 2 hours now. I've lost 3 jig heads with gulp on them. Hooked 1 red and it broke off. And I just caught a trout. So it's slow, but at least I caught a fish so far. I'm gonna keep the camera off to save battery until I catch more fish. Okay, it's been 3 hours. It's pretty much high tide right now. I think I got another trout. Yep, trout. Been another long time in between this fish and the last fish. But I caught another one on the mud minnow. That's probably not a keeper. Barely hooked. Oh, there it goes. Alright, try to get some more. It's been 4 hours now. Caught 2 trout, hooked to 1 red. This is the beginning of the outgoing tide, so I'm really hoping to get on some reds really soon. Finally hooked a red. Got him on the popping cork with a mud minnow. It's a nice size one too. Yeah, it's a real nice one. Wow. Yeah. It's right up there in that grass right there. My drag's a little bit loose, but not that loose. It's a nice sized fish. Really slow day, but I'm so glad to catch a red. And this is a nice size one to catch too. It's a heavy fish. Yeah, this one's in the upper 20s. It's gonna be close to 30, I think. Oh yeah, upper 20s. Probably not 30. Come on. Just happy to catch one. If I can get it in. I'm not even hooked on the inside of the mouth. There we go. Finally. Well, I hooked them like on the outside of the mouth. There's the little mud minnow we ate too. Still alive. 25.5 inches. Not a bad fish. Might be the only red I catch today. Alright, time to let it go. Hopefully I can get it one more. Or a couple more. There it goes. So this is hour 5. Caught 1 red, 2 trout. Been really slow. This is what the high tide is usually like this time of year. Well, this is what I've caught all the fish on today. So I'll explain what it is and how I fish it. This is just a basic popping cork, but it's a smaller version than the ones I usually use. The way I'm using it is I have 15-pound leader, probably 2.5, 3 feet, an 1/8 ounce jig head, and a live mud minnow under it. And I'm just casting it at spots and letting it sit, not popping it, because that really doesn't attract the fish this time of year. Well, this is hour 6 now. I normally would have probably gone in 2 hours ago, but I want to catch more fish. I have just 2 more spots that I'm gonna try out, and then I'm gonna head in for the day. This is the end of my fishing day today. It was really slow with this high tide. Got 1 overslot red, 2 small trout. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.